Hello and welcome to another episode of Leather with Barbera. We've got a very special guest joining us from Brisbane in Australia. Her name is Rachel Baldock. We have chatted previously, but I just want Rachel to introduce herself to our viewers and our listeners. So go ahead, Rachel. You just give us a bio about who you are and what you're about. That'd be great. Thank you.
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Rachel, or otherwise a lot of people call me Rach. I'm really happy to be here having a chat with Brian today. So, the main thing that I do is that I offer breathwork, intuitive coaching, medium readings, and group work for mainly women to reconnect to the truth of who they are, live lives that are truly aligned to them. And I love to blend science and spirituality together. So I'm an ex-nurse. I was nursing for 16 years and then have now moved into more of, a combination of science and spirituality in the work that I do.
Fantastic. I do have a set of questions for you, as I do with all my guests, but just because of what you do in the name of women, I just want to add an extra question on and where you believe at the moment, seeing as though there seems to be a little bit of a crisis with men in the world and the way they deal with women. Not all men, obviously, but it is a little bit of an issue. And do you sort of help women with that as well? Because there is an increasing amount of misogyny going on, and there's a lot of people who've got quite a lot of influence in the world, and not just your influencers on Instagram. We've got some very powerful men at the moment who have got a very poor attitude towards women just in general. So with your sort of signature work, do you finding a lot of troubles that women are having is linked to the way that they're perceived still, and there doesn't seem to be a move forward, or is it just as it always has been, there's no increase?
Look, the work that I do with women is really, majority of it is based around intuition and really trusting themselves. So I always say that, the most powerful work that you can do is to go inward and to look at the yourself first. And that actually, and I'm going to get a little bit woo-woo, that changes.
You go. Go ahead.
When you do the work internally on yourself, it does actually change and shift the perception of your external reality. Now, I'm not saying that any of the things that you have talked about are okay, because they're certainly not. But the work that I offer is really allowing women to shut out the external noise for a little while and actually turn inward towards themselves and trust what's happening internally in them. Because I think for a long time, what has happened is that women have lost the trust within themselves. So for me, it's about helping them and guiding them back to trusting what's happening within them, trusting the signals that are happening within their body, trusting that, there are the clair senses or our intuitive senses. So guiding them back to those and saying they actually are a normal part of being a woman and of being human, and let's bring those back into life. I don't know, I hope that's answered your question, but yeah,
it does.
It's mainly working on internal work.
I think the question wasn't so much to sort of condemn or criticize for the thing that's going on at the moment. And obviously there's a big thing over here in the UK at the moment, because a Netflix episode has gone out with Saru, who's an interviewer, and he's just sort of been interviewing men and these influencers who believe women should be put in their place and told what to do, and etc., etc. But it's more to do with the fact that we do have, obviously, decades and decades and decades of women being sort of second always in everything, without getting really political about it. And there is an increase in it. I mean, I've interviewed two ladies now, and I've got a lady coming on who's a celebrity to talk about women's health. And obviously I started while swimming through a lady who's started while swimming through menopause, and she's got a huge amount of female followers. It's a good thing. This is a great thing, but I feel like it's a long time coming, and I think you've got a hell of a job on your hands, because I think there's still a lot of women that believe that they don't have an internal voice. They don't have anything within here other than either a wife or a mother or a cleaner or a housewife, or they don't have that belief in themselves. And the more people like you can come forward and help women reconnect with who they actually are, we're just humans, aren't we? We've just got different genders. And I think that's great what you're doing. So it's really just to highlight that, really, for you and what you're doing. It's a great job.
Thank you.
So for you, what is one truth about health that you know to be true through your work or lived experience, but that the public media or even your own industry still isn't ready to fully hear?
Good question. My cat just started meowing in the background as you asked it. So can you ask it again? Sorry.
It's okay. So what is one truth about health that you know
Yes.
to be true through your work or lived experiences, but that the public media or even your own industry still isn't ready to fully hear?
Yeah, well, I think it is exactly what I was just saying, that, women are really, really powerful. And I think that that is half or part of the reason why there is still this squashing or this belief system around, women belong in a certain spot or whatever it might be. And I think that the truth is subjective, but also the growing truth that I'm finding in the work that I do and the women that I get to work with is that when women do trust themselves and when women come into community with others, it's incredibly powerful. I run group programs with women and a monthly women's circle, and having those spaces, those safe spaces for women to come together and be with one another is incredibly, incredibly empowering. And noticing the shift from, when they arrive to when they leave is just phenomenal. Witnessing the realizations that people have in that space, or, that we get to bounce off each other or lift each other up. Like, I think that women have been pushed against each other for a really long time and forced to compete against each other. So I truly believe that when we all can rise together and come together in community with each other, it is incredibly powerful. And we as a community, we as people, we as humans, we get to do that. We get to rise together and lift each other up. It doesn't have to be competitive. It actually gets to be so incredibly powerful to be together and to trust that, I think. And I am noticing, especially in the work that I do around intuition and mediumship, I guess it is still considered woo-woo, and that's why I've created my podcast, is around destigmatizing the woo-woo, is that actually all of that stuff isn't really woo-woo at all. It's all quite normal. And if you go back hundreds of years, thousands of years, that was all considered to be really normal. Like, women were the medicine bearers. They were the ones that held the wisdom. They were the ones that, created potions or medicines and alchemized things. And yes, okay, we were called witches and burnt at one point. Yes. But like, going back, that's what happened. We were the ones who were the creators of things, and somewhere along the line that has been taken away. And I truly believe that is coming back.
I do believe it is. I think it's there is still a concerted effort from patriarchy. I hate to use that word because it's very overused. Well, I don't hate it because I don't think it's a true thing. It's just because it's just so sad that we do keep mentioning this all the time in current world affairs that we obviously witnessing it currently. But it's a thing as well in the animal kingdom. I mean, we go back to the fact that we are mammals in clothes, and we've just managed. But if you look at most animal setups, you've got a matriarch who's in charge of an elephant herd, and without the matriarch, the elephant herd can't survive. It's the same in the killer whale pod. The leader of the killer whale pod is a female. Females lead practically everywhere, but for some reason in our own species, women's ability to be leaders and be allowed to be leaders and to be strong women and has sort of been eroded as we've gone through a modernized sort of way of thinking. And even with the Queen in this country, it didn't really make that much difference. That was just more of a figurehead when we had old Lizzie, as we refer to her. But I think it is coming back. I'd like to see it sped up, the return of women, because I think we need a little bit of balance in the world at the moment, being so scary as it is. So if we don't change how we talk about that truth that you just explained to us, openly, honestly, and without shame, what do you believe the real human cost will be in 5 or 10 years from now? If what you're doing stalls, it doesn't go any further, and we don't get the breakthrough back to as it was in the day, where, as you say, women were medicine bearers, matriarchs, leaders, gel of a family unit. What do you think could happen?
I mean, I feel it will just continue going on the way that it is. Like, it will just it will just continue being messy and like disorganized. And I don't know if you can relate to this or see this, but I just feel it's like, it's so obvious that it's like, guys, this needs to change. Like, come on. Like shaking people and be like, what the fuck? I hope I can swear on your podcast.
You can swear. You can say whatever you want. I live in Scotland, so don't you worry about that.
Yes. Yeah, you can just see it going down this road of continual suppression and, like you've said, misogyny, and like, just, I don't like to think about it because I am someone who is very focused on what do you want to bring into the world? What do you want to see in the world? What changes are you doing every single day? So to even think about it I find it really uncomfortable, because it's something that I am so focused on, of like, I have a mission here. I am really dedicated to supporting as many women as possible who are ready to really awaken within themselves what I feel has been dormant or asleep for, a really long time. And so I think that's as much as I'd like to say about it, because otherwise I find within myself I start getting like worked up and upset about it. I'm just like, no.
Well, and I don't want to upset anybody, and I certainly don't want to upset you, because we've talked before. No. And I think, as I said, I mentioned just a few sentences back, I wild swim, which I absolutely love, wild swimming. And the lady that introduced me runs this group, and it's grown massively. She's got a huge following.
Beautiful.
But whenever and I do, as I said, I mentioned to you, I think last time, I recently did a television program with a couple of celebrities that do wild swimming in Scotland. They're off BBC. And they asked the same question, and it's similar. It's what we're talking about. Why don't more men swim? That's the question that I got asked by the male in the celebrity couple, Greg. And to be honest with you, I couldn't really give him a proper answer. But in what we're talking about here, it's almost like, well, that's a women thing and that's a man thing. So a man thing is just watching contact sport like football, rugby, whatever. And a women thing is just, they sort of gossip in a little pond somewhere, or they go sit on the beach. And it's just not at all like that. But with that group, and then within that group, there's other ladies that have got other groups, and they do breath work. In fact, strangely enough, I met a lady not so long ago, directly after when you interviewed me for yours. I was in a sauna on the beach where I swim, so they have a swim set. And the lady that I started talking to, because she was from where I'm originally from in England, and she happened to mention she does breathwork, just like you. It's almost bizarre.
Oh, wow.
There's more and more and more people going, I think there is this growing movement to go, I think the old way of dealing with stuff is not working for us anymore. It's outdated. It's antiquated. It's in medieval times. We don't need any of this stuff. We live in the 21st century. We're all modern people. And things need to change for the better. And I do believe that they will. It's just, I'd like it a little bit quicker, if I'm honest with you. Because I think it'd benefit us all if we just got on with it quicker and just got rid of some stuff that's not helping anybody really, other than a few people. So, moving on, your work blends science, embodiment, and spirituality in a way that feels grounded and real. So how did your journey from nursing into breathwork and intuitive coaching shape that integrative approach?
Such a great question. And before I answer that question, I would love to say that I have witnessed men being incredible humans. So my beautiful partner, he is part of a men's group. They catch up every single week. They go down to a creek together. They do men's work. So there's probably sometimes about 20 of them meeting. They do men's work. So they do journaling. They talk to each other about their feelings. They have a different activity each week. So sometimes they'll do play. Sometimes they will learn how to make damper, so like a bread. They jump in the creek and they go for a swim, and then they go and get a coffee. And like, that just makes my heart so freaking happy to know that there is a group of men, and I think there's more around where I live, doing this. They are meeting every week. They are committed, and it was his birthday last week. And all of them at the party, there was like 50 people there. They gathered in a circle together, and they all went around one by one and all complimented my partner and said what they love about him. Now, I think that is so unusual. I'm used to going to a party where men are just getting blind drunk and, you know, not like not talking about their feelings. And so I was like, this is incredible to witness men talking about their feelings, complimenting each other, speaking from the heart. So I think there is change happening. And I know that, like you said, it is a bit smaller than maybe or slower than what we may like, but there definitely is beautiful men such as yourself, such as, you know, these men that go to this men's group. And I think if we can keep focusing on that, it will continue to grow. Like, I really, really do believe that where you focus your energy is, there's a yogic saying that's like, where your attention goes, energy flows. So what you focus your attention on is going to expand. And so I'm a big believer in that. And a big believer of, like, there is power in that. There is huge power in focusing your attention on what you want to expand. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with witnessing him going every week to this men's group, because it's beautiful.
It is. I, as a man, and I sometimes get quite a lot of attacks on social media because of it, because I will call out men, and I will call out patriarchy, and I will call out misogynists, and I will call out any man, and I don't care. Just because I'm a male, it doesn't mean to say that I can't criticize other men. But there is a lot of men and a lot of groups we have a thing called Andy's Man Club, and that is a growing, massive thing in this country of getting men together on a Wednesday evening, and they just talk about their feelings. And I'm a 52-year-old man, and that would never have happened when I was 10 years old. No way, Jose. And it's a new thing. So it is moving, and we're not all the same as the people that are causing us all the problems, without naming names, because I'm not going to give them any airtime. I think we still have to keep pushing, because we do. I mean, I know quite a lot of men who are very much like the hated men that we don't really like, that type of man, because how I grew up. I'm a working class man, and in that area, that's my life was surrounded by men like that, sadly. But as I've got older, and I tend to sort of stay away from those types of men, and because I don't really like their attitudes. But I think what we've got as a saving grace, and I don't know if it's the same in Australia, but it's definitely in this country, is the younger generation of men that are coming out of school and uni and college.
Yeah.
They are coming out in droves with a better attitude towards people. It's not just all about the man, and everybody else is superfluous or just used, or, you know, just an accessory to my life. More, right, okay, well, we've got these types of people that, for example, they've got this sexuality, we've got these types of people, they've got this sort of gender, we've got these types of people with this colour, we've got these types of people with this religious beliefs, and they are more tolerant. But it's because they're aware of themselves. And I've always found that the men that I used to know, and my relatives, alive and dead, was more of a sort of insecurity thing with those men. So the more insecure they were about themselves, the more they would project that insecurity into then sort of not very nice people. So very sort of negative talking and putting people down and suppressing people.
Yes.
Violence against women, for example, and that type of thing. But we're seeing more and more of that. And men are going, oh, actually, I don't have to be like my granddad was or my dad was. I can actually just be...
exactly.
I could be John. And John likes to run round fields of daffodils in his bare feet, and he's not bothered. Or he goes swimming with a load of women, and not really see that as a weird thing, because he's just a man on his own swimming with a load of women. And if his mates say, oh, what are you? He's not really bothered about what his mate's saying either, because he's just bothered about his own happiness and how he gets that in the more easy. So we are going someplace, and I'm not sort of banging men on the head because I'm one of them. But come on, men, we need to do a bit more than what we do sometimes. We're a little bit soft, really.